All right, so let's get into that gun to the head mindset, that gun to the head motivation. So think about this. What if I had a gun? I actually do own a few guns. I'm in America, Wisconsin, hunter background. And so I'm holding that gun to your head. I go, okay, think about your primary focus right now. Is it your dating life? Do you want to master your dating life? Is it, losing 20 pounds? Is it ending procrastination for good? Reading every day? Is it starting that business, getting it to 10K a month, getting those 5 clients? I got a gun to your head and I'm going to pull the trigger in 30 days. What are you willing to do to make yourself a success? What is it going to take you? Think about, I had a client and it was about getting a new job. And he came to me and he's like, I really want to get a new job. And I joke about this before I've said it. I'm like, what are you doing? And he said he was doing Toastmasters and all these other things. And I'm like, this is the long path. What if you had that gun to your head? What would you do today? Would you just settle for putting resumes out and that's the end of it? Or would you go to that person's office and say, hey, did you get my resume? I just like to shake your hand. Would you go on LinkedIn and find who the hiring manager was and say, hey, did you receive my application? I'm really excited about this role. And how much research would you put into it? So when you have that gun to your head mindset, it just changes everything. A lot of times it's because we have some sort of safety net, like in business is a great example, where because you got a day job, you're not really that sense of urgency isn't really there. What if you didn't have that day job? What if you didn't have that money in the bank? What if you didn't have that investor money? Make your decisions based on that. Try to just block it out and say, oh my God, what do I need to do today? And you're probably not going to be tweaking a little button on the website. You're probably not going to be sprinkling a couple ads on Facebook. You're probably like, I got to bang the phones and get that first client or get another client so that the cash flow keeps coming in. And so what it really does is it fine-tunes your focus on what is the most important thing I need to do right now, because it's literally life or death. And so you might look at this and say, whoa, this is a little bit extreme. Life or death situation here. Is it me getting my daily life handled? Is it really life or death? The fact that you have those thoughts, that's the thing that's holding you back. And if you're not achieving the things that you want, you need to develop that extreme sense of urgency. And the masses usually never have this level of urgency. They're just going through life. They're focused more on security and certainty. And so the only time that you actually see it is when all of a sudden a close one, like a loved one or a friend or family member, gets something like a terminal disease. They get cancer or they have a stroke. And what happens in these situations, that's when you see that sense of urgency, because again, it's that life or death situation where they're more well-versed on whatever the disease is than any doctor that they visit. They've seen every doctor. They'll travel across the country to find some expert. They'll pay whatever it takes. They'll go on a raw diet or some extreme diet, take whatever supplements that they need, because this is like, I want my loved one to be around as long as I can, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. When you have that mindset for whatever you want to achieve, that's that level of urgency that really makes that success inevitable. And if you look at the most successful people, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts, the Elon Musks, they all have stories of the reason they're at that level of success. I remember they said, Bill Gates, he's like, I never took a day off until I was 31 years old. Weekends, whatever. Like I said, it's a little crazy, but look at the success that he has. Elon Musk, insane work ethic. If you read his book, it's crazy. He's got like 3 billion, multi-billion-dollar businesses. And it's just like, and for him, it's because he thinks the earth is going to end and be unlivable in 5 to 10 years. So again, it's that life or death situation that you really want to get to where you're like, I'll do whatever it takes. And so again, I get the whole work-life balance. That's not what this level is about. That's not what this product is about. It's about getting off your ass and taking action. I have all sorts of other stuff for that level, but this is for you to get that spinning like a top to where that motivation is pushing through, that sense of urgency. And like I said, too often when a client comes to me, they don't have that yet. So boom, let's kick it into high gear. And then once you start getting the momentum, you start getting the traction, then you can go, okay, now let's balance out. How does this look for everything else going on in my life? To crank it up even further here, another way of looking at this is the addiction mindset. And so what happens is with this is that a lot of the stuff that they teach with the whole, where the spectrum of motivation came from is, okay, well, how do I motivate people to change, to live a healthier life? An example would be somebody who's addicted to drugs or alcohol. What happens is because they don't see the long-term ramifications of it, they're usually not that motivated to stop. Because if you think about like a heroin addict, they're just like, oh man, I feel sick right now. I just feel like shit. I feel nauseous and I just need that hit because, it's just going to feel good. And they're only thinking about the next minute. Or they're even thinking about tomorrow, I'm going to be fine. But what they don't do is think about 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. And so I want you to do the same thing when it comes to your ideal vision and that primary focus. Think about your life 1 year from now. Would it be that much different? Well, what about 3 years? What about if in 10 years after you went through this whole product, you still haven't achieved everything you want, and there you sit, you're on the couch, you're fat, you're lazy, you're sad, you're lonely, and you're a piece of shit because, oh, I just sat there complacently because I didn't think it was a big deal, but now you look back and you're like, oh my God, I've wasted my life. Really imagine that. Picture yourself in that chair. What would it be like, your life would it be like if you didn't achieve the thing you wanted to achieve? And again, how bad do you want it? Get off your ass and do it, and stack on all those reasons why it's awesome. Stack on how good you'd feel if you'd achieve it. What type of person would you become? Have the jet fuel where the thing you're compelled that you're moving towards, but also light that fire on your ass to say, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to never end up like that, to really do whatever it takes.